There's nothing wrong with enhancing the flavor of a dish with a little salt. The problem is in how much sodium Americans consume on a daily basis.
So excessive sodium consumption is a growing public health concern. Most people actually consume double the recommended limit.
Over 75% of the sodium people consume comes from processed food in restaurants.
Excessive sodium consumption can lead to high blood pressure, which increases your risk for heart disease and stroke. And those are the leading causes of death in the United States.
You think grabbing a steak at Outback or ribs at Chili's is a safe bet? Former cooks say much of what you're eating was batch-cooked hours earlier, held in warming trays, then seared just to give the illusion of freshness.
Thanks to a 3-year federal grant, Clark County Public Health implemented a sodium reduction program for local non-chain restaurants.
The work is really to help them make gradual small changes in their recipes and throughout their menu.
The county has been a huge support. The technical assistance has been incredible, just in terms of helping us understand and do a nutritional analysis to know what the health basis of our food.
Because when we have everyone working together to reduce sodium, it can have a significant impact on health. We're one of just a handful of communities that has this funding in the nation, so we're really excited. And our restaurant community has just stepped up to the plate and has been really eager to partner with us.
One cook even admitted the sizzle is often for show. If you're over 50, these shortcuts aren't just disappointing. They can hit your heart and kidneys hard with thousands of milligrams of sodium in a single meal. So why do so many chain restaurants hide behind fake freshness? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
To give insightful tips on how to enhance flavor and taste while reducing sodium, Clark County has sponsored 2 free culinary workshops for local restaurant owners and chefs.
When we designed the menu in the first place, we had a lower sodium mindset, but they've helped us in ways, creative ways, to lower our sodium in our food.
Okay, thank you so much.
Today we talked about flavor versus taste. Taste is a physiological response to sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Flavor comes from cooking techniques and certain ingredients that impart flavor of whatever that food is into a dish.
A plate of ribs that looks hot and sizzling may be hours old before it ever reaches your table. The sound, the smoke, and the red glow of the meat all work to convince you it was just pulled from the grill. Yet behind most of these plates is a process that depends on bulk cooking, storage, and quick reheating. It may look like a fresh meal, but the reality of how it was prepared tells a different story.
I was at the workshop, very, very helpful, and that's where I learned about roasting. Just that weekend I was going to do 2 different types of salsa, and he talked about roasting the tomatillos, and I'm like, what a great idea.
Today we learned about balancing taste as a way to make a dish taste complete without just relying on more and more salts to enhance the flavor.
Many people walk into chains like Chili's, Outback, or Applebee's, assuming the food will start cooking the second their order gets punched into the system. That image of a chef flipping meat over an open flame or kneading dough for bread is what the restaurant wants you to picture. This belief has been quietly nurtured by years of commercials showing sizzling skillets, glowing embers, and smiling workers perfecting each dish on the spot. But when customers finally see the truth in the kitchen, they realize the food isn't being cooked for them, it's being held for them. Ex-employees have explained how kitchens in these chains prep not just some of the food, but entire meals early in the day. Racks of chicken, beef, and pork are cooked in the morning, stacked into trays and kept warm for hours. Vegetables and sides follow the same path, leaving very little actually started from scratch after a guest orders. By the time a plate goes out, the kitchen staff has mainly reheated and arranged rather than freshly cooked the food. One of the clearest examples comes from Chili's. The ever-popular fajita platter is famous for its smoke and sizzle as it comes out of the kitchen. People often stop and look when it passes their table, assuming it proves freshness. What really happens is a short sear placed on meat and vegetables that have already been cooked long before. The sound and aroma are not results of actual cooking, but a stage performance designed to create an impression. At Cracker Barrel, the image has always been about home-style cooking. warm breads, chewy biscuits, and butter melting on top. But staff describe biscuits delivered as frozen blocks, thawed, then baked off in waves ahead of time. When rush periods hit, leftover biscuits that had fallen onto trays would sometimes be reused, with little regard for how many people had already touched those trays. The warmth and smell made them appear homemade, even though the process behind them was closer to factory output. Outback Steakhouse makes a different promise. Thick cuts of steak seasoned and grilled to order. Yet reports describe cuts arriving to the restaurant vacuum sealed, sitting untouched in coolers for up to a week. Once opened, staff would mask any dullness on the surface with seasoning before it hit the grill. The branding highlights bold flavors and fresh meat, while in reality the meat spent most of its time in plastic bags, waiting. Even Subway, where workers prepare sandwiches just a few feet from the counter, builds its image on the smell of bread that fills nearly every shop. People pick up on that scent right away, linking it with freshness, but the bread doesn't start its life with flour, water, and kneading hands. It comes frozen, already portioned into dough sticks, thawed, and then baked in batches to release that smell into the air. Customers believe a bread maker stood kneading it minutes earlier, when in truth it left a factory floor long before arriving at the store. These details create a picture of assembly line cooking, where the goal is speed and appearance instead of freshness or nutrition. A person sitting down never sees the hours food has been waiting, the freezers storing dough, or the trays of meat reheating over and over until someone orders it. They only see the final moment, a steaming plate landing in front of them, perfectly staged to erase any doubts. The message is clear. The sights, sounds, and smells inside these restaurants are not proof of careful cooking. They are crafted illusions, designed to hide how food is actually managed on a mass scale. It works for companies because most customers never stop to question it. But once you begin to see it for what it is, you realize that the illusion costs more than just authenticity. Because here's the part worth thinking about. While the performance hides bulk prep from view, the impact of eating these meals is very real. And for people past the age of 50, where recovery from heavy sodium, preservatives, and contamination takes far longer, the consequences stretch far beyond what the surface shows. For anyone over 50, the danger isn't simply clever advertising. It's the hidden load of sodium, preservatives, and reheated ingredients that force your heart, kidneys, and digestive system to work harder than they should. Meals look inviting, but behind that appearance may be hours of storage and shortcuts that increase the risk of contamination or nutrient loss. The next time you sit down in a chain restaurant, ask yourself what the sizzle and aroma are really selling. Choosing carefully can protect more than your expectations. It can help safeguard your blood pressure, kidney function, and strength for the years ahead.